Hey, welcome back to Sip Happens. With me, as always, is my beautiful primary host,
Rosie.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm Rosie. Was I supposed to introduce myself there?
Yeah, I was pointing. Anyway,
Cool.
And I'm Sean, the awkward one. I'm the awkward one. Stop taking my brand.
Yeah, it's all yours.
So
can you
Rosie,
turn on your web captioner for us?
Yep. Yes, I
Cool.
can. I even had like my mouse on the button.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, web captioner. Welcome. All right. So, Rosie, what are we doing today?
We're drinking some tea, and I think we have a guest. Is that correct?
I think we do have a guest, and that guest has brought his human along, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Our guest is the Copper Catastrophe, and his human, Amy Lynn Dzura, avid gamer, baker, knitter, enunciation's important, and community manager over for the Adventurers League organized play game for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. She talks a lot about gaming and inclusivity, as well as making it as welcoming as possible. She's a cast member for #Quest for the Cure, which has raised over $10,000 for Duchenne's muscular dystrophy research, as well as premiering, if we air this correctly, this Sunday, March 7th, Cyberpunk Independence, a Cyberpunk Red actual play series. But we'll get into where to find that and how to support those causes a little bit more when we bring Amy on from off stage. She's standing in the wings, ready to go.
Yeah.
But before that, what are we going to drink?
This particular dryad tea, little green package, you know what that means, is called Sylvester Torquil. And I'm not even going to pretend like I can read the first 2 words. So you can this time.
Dowling Sheed.
Great, keep going.
Duke of Shadowed Hills, husband to Luna Torquil, and liege lord to October. Sylvester is a child of Oberon and a hero.
Yeah, we reversed roles and it's still working.
Hey, look at that. Little switch action. You want to give us the ingredients?
Yeah. Rooibos, clove, rose petals, pear, apple pieces, and our personal favorite, natural flavors.
Gotta love natural flavors. Any tea with natural flavors just feels so flavored.
Natural. And natural, right. How does it smell? Let's give it a...
Yeah. I opened this already. Still so
Ooh. Cloves. I can smell cloves.
I smell a lot of the pear. Like, I was expecting more clove, and I'm getting a lot of rose petal and pear. That's exciting.
This would be a fun flavor.
Hey,
what mug do you have today?
What?
What mug did you bring to use today?
What mug did I bring today? I totally picked one out ahead of time. Here's a mug with the face of John Green. Have I not had this on yet?
I feel like you have.
Yeah, this is my "Don't talk to me until I've had my pizza" John mug. What are our brew instructions on this one?
Yeah, this one is a 200 degrees or 93 Celsius. And we let it steep for 5 to 8 minutes.
5 to 8 minutes. Okay.
That's what I said.
Fair enough. I believe you.
My mug today is one that says, "Explore more."
Nice.
And this is the perfect one for the stroopwafels because it's like the right size for the stroopwafel not to fall in.
Oh, yeah. We should get some of those. We keep talking about them.
I have boxes of them. I have like 5.
Well, you have my address.
I do have your address, and something is supposed to show up soon.
Not
stroopwafels, though.
Oh, I could just go buy them, I guess.
I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
Well, I got my water brewing. I got my tea and my infuser. This infuser comes with a handy dandy little hook. Oh, that's neat. Or at least I haven't seen that one. Handy dandy little hook. I'm going to put that aside. Because I think it's time to bring on our guests.
I think it is too. Let me switch screens and unmute them. Welcome.
Hello. How are y'all?
What is going on?
Well, the Copper Catastrophe has invited me to accompany him. He's busy. He doesn't like to be handed things. So you get me instead. Mouth a little full.
It's very Tony Stark of him, not like you could be handed things.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun to have a reason to get dressed up and talk to people like a human.
Yeah, it's a little exhausting because this is obviously only our first and only episode that we've recorded today. As you can tell by the fact that the light has gone from being very bright to not over here. But it is nice to talk to people during the day and get dressed up because normally sweatpants and a sweatshirt, that's all I can swing.
Oh, yes.
I too am wearing clothing, and this is not my natural skin.
Are you sure?
No.
Fair.
Amy, tell us a little bit about who you are. What do you do? What are you knitting? What are you drinking?
I am drinking a chai latte because chai is my favorite. I like strong, spicy tea. So when y'all were like cloves, I'm like, I want to know what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a pink sparkle glitter mug.
Oh, it's
so
I broke out the sparkles. This is my first time using it. So
I love it.
It's a fancy occasion.
Nice.
What am I working on? I am knitting a shawl. This is my first shawl. I've been knitting for about a year. I actually started quarantine a little early last year. I had surgery, so my quarantine started about 6 weeks before everyone else.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I took up knitting while I was in recovery, and that's how I keep my hands busy now. It's really great because I'm a little fidgety in real life. So now, like on all of the Zoom meetings that I have for work, and just generally, it's nice to keep part of my brain occupied and my hands, especially during work meetings when it's like I could be over here on the internet and then my boss asks me a question. I'm like, huh? So now, if part of my brain is occupied, then I at least look like I'm paying a little bit more attention than maybe I am. So
I find myself having to do the same kind of things to occupy part of my brain to deal with my ADHD. So we just had, or maybe we're about to have, I don't know what order things are airing in. At some point, we'll have Dr. B on, and
that'll be probably after this, if this is coming out in time for Amy's launch
premiere.
Yeah.
Time is a construct and an illusion these days.
Time is a flat circle. Anyway, whenever Dr. B's episode happens, we talk about stimming, but we recorded that today, and it's very forward in my mind. But yeah, I always have to have something to do with my hands. This is why the shot is from here. You don't see the 14 Rubik's cubes.
I took up coloring, so when my laptop's in its normal spot on my desk instead of by this comfy chair, I have some of my coloring book pages displayed on the shelf behind me, because that has been my thing. Like online D&D, love that I can still play online. Like I love that it's still an option. Great, but it's a very different experience than when you're around the table and you can be like, hey. So I color a lot when I'm playing online D&D so that I'm still paying attention. Like you said, Amy, I'm not on the internet when it's my turn and I've forgotten to pay attention to the things that are happening. So that's been my favorite thing. I bought a whole new thing of markers for it.
Ooh. That's almost like going back to grade school when you would get the brand new box of Crayola crayons.
Mm-hmm.
Sharpener in the back. Yeah, that's a good smell.
Yeah,
that pencil always got lost so.
Oh yeah,
quickly.
No, that sharpener was a joke, but it seemed fancy at the time.
I agree. Very cool, very, very cool. So, all right, so we've talked about this thing that's premiering on March 7th. We haven't talked about where or why or who or wherefore, which is just an old way of saying why.
Sure. So some friends and I are learning to play the Cyberpunk Red system that just came out by our Telsoren Games. And yeah, it's amazing. It's a departure from what I usually play. it uses D10s and D6s, and it's not like your standard D&D, which is with a few forays into Adventures in Middle Earth and Pugmire. I primarily play 5th edition. So Cyberpunk has been like a sharp left turn. It's darker than I usually am as a person. Sparkles and rainbows. So having sort of like a grimmer world to explore has been a lot of fun. But so we've been taping for the past couple of months, and we're finally getting ready to premiere Cyberpunk Independence on Fort Nerd's Twitch stream on March 7th. So I think our session 0 is our first episode where we're gonna Cyberpunk has a really cool like this is your life character creation where you can choose who you are as a person and then how you found yourself in the role that you're playing in the game. That was different from how I traditionally make my D&D characters. So that was a lot of fun. Like it's pushing some boundaries and we're learning some things as we go. We are hoping to be more of like a teaching show. So like we're asking questions. We don't all expect to know the answers. We don't expect our viewers to know the answers. So we'll have like little pop-ups like, how do you determine this?
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. So
Super
we're
cool.
all going to
Yeah.
learn together.
Make a local expert check. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
So my partner and I were fortunate enough to help at Gen Con 2019 launch the Cyberpunk Jumpstart kit, which is what I was pointing to up here. So I've kind of fell in love with the red system, and I'm super excited that the full rule set is finally out and like to dive more into it. So I will definitely be watching on March 7th. And what else do I have to do on Sundays? Okay.
Well, I mean, I have like no, it's fine.
Your show's earlier.
I know, and it's every other Sunday. It's a lot to commit to.
What time on March 7th?
That's a great question.
I believe it's 7 p.m. Eastern time. I probably could have looked that up.
It'll be, you know what? We're just gonna hit the button over here, and it's gonna pop up in the chat, and then, and now everyone knows exactly what time it will be there.
Thank you.
We'll link the channel. We'll do all the things.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this later on YouTube, it's down in the doobly-doo.
Yep.
We got it.
Doobly-doos are so useful.
Mm-hmm.
This is exciting. This is the first time we've been like, okay, we need to record as if today is March 3rd.
Right? By the way, my tea has been steeping for about 7 minutes now, so I'm going to take out my little infuser and give it a sniff. Ooh, it smells good.
Still getting that clove?
Mm-hmm. And it smells, I think the fruit that, I don't know, I think it's more apple that I can smell right now, but it smells like a cider, like a mold with like the...
Mm. You know I love a nice cider. That's not sarcasm.
I know, but I'm not sure if I knew that or not. That was more like did I know that?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was to Amy.
Oh, okay.
Amy
knows all my cider preferences.
Cider is good. My husband and I, we just made some hard cider earlier this year. It was one of our quarantine activities. So that is currently resting and will hopefully be delicious when we pop it open.
Very cool.
That's
How long
awesome.
does hard cider need to rest before you can get up in there?
In theory, it's ready after like 6 weeks, but in the copious internet rabbit holes that I fell down, I guess the longer you let it sit, the more like the flavors have a chance to develop. So we've got a closet full of cider now.
That sounds like the best bluegrass song I've heard. And you're in Appalachia, right?
Formerly, I was born in Pittsburgh. I live outside Philly now. So
that's not too far from where I used to live.
Yeah, so it's interesting moving. It's only about a 5-hour drive, but it's completely different, like culture-wise.
Yep.
Like Pittsburgh's a friendly town. You know, Midwest, everyone will help you, and Philly, we have a phrase that we use called Philly nice, where if they're not telling you where you can go, then yeah, that's pretty Philly nice. So, but I do love it here. So don't throw
Yeah, I
batteries
spent,
at me, Philly.
I spent enough time in New Jersey and then like doing road trips out through and then past Western Pennsylvania, that like it really is two very different places. Like,
Yeah.
like Philadelphia is definitely like East Coast, and Pittsburgh is definitely like, I don't know, might as well be Chicago or somewhere in Ohio.
Midwest.
Yeah.
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 There's Pittsburgh thinks they have a rivalry with Philadelphia, and Philadelphia's like, what?
Why are we even part of the same state, honestly? We should just divide it up and call it. Yeah.
I'm all for states. Just let's divide every state into like 3 or 4.
So it seems like a lot of work.
We'd have to redo a lot of the flags.
Licenses. I don't, how many licenses does a person need? I can keep mine. It's a lot of work to get a new driver's license.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I got my driver's license when I was a kid, and then I moved to 2 different states, and they just gave me new ones. I was like, here.
Mm-hmm. I put off
Thanks for
changing my married name on all of my paperwork for the longest time.
Right. Maybe that's the part that's difficult, is because you really like have to prove that you're still that like you're a new person, but the same person.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of proving that needs to go into it. Do you have this piece of paper? Did this one get signed by this person? Is this been proved? I don't know. I got married. Please. Yeah. Yep. Please just give me a new license that matches, please.
I watched Elizabeth go through that process, and I do not envy it. I've put my infuser back in. I would like this to be a little bit stronger. I'm going to see if I can get it there without oversteeping. So now we play a dangerous game.
I'm going to put my cinnamon honey in it. I know your feelings on adding honey, but my feelings are not the same as yours.
Wait, what are your feelings on adding honey?
I love adding honey. I just no. I literally bought $120 of honey today. Rosie was there. But no, I love adding honey to tea. I just want to get the flavor of the tea first. Like I want to know what this is, and then I'm probably going to add honey to it.
Right. But you also believe that a tea should be able to stand on its own, where I believe that adding honey is part of the deal sometimes with tea.
So I feel the same way about adding honey to tea as I do adding sauce to barbecue. I think that they're amazing. Like I love barbecue sauce. I think that barbecue needs to be able to stand on its own without sauce, and then you add barbecue sauce, much like you add tea, to enhance and complement.
So, are you a barbecue dipper instead of like a slatherer?
I can go either way.
Okay.
But like, if it's my first time getting barbecue from somewhere, then I almost always get sauce on the side. But like, if it's good barbecue and the sauce really works, I stop getting sauce on the side if it's what I'm going to put on there anyway.
Makes sense.
We can talk. I'll start a new show
about barbecue.
Where I review barbecue and dry rub, because that is something I actually know, as opposed to tea, which I just drink.
Yeah, it's good. The cinnamon helps. The cinnamon honey helps. Like just.
It seems like it would be a good flavor profile for like to add the cinnamon in with the apples and the cloves and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pleasant. It's still like I want it to cool off just like 5 degrees more, but cool. What else do we want to talk about? What else is going on in the world?
Well, Amy, tell me a little bit about Quest for the Cure, the other.
Sure. Some of my friends, actually, this is how I met them for a Cyberpunk game. My friend Gary of Fort Nerd and the Cocked Die podcast invited me like, hey, I'm getting some people together. We're going to do a series of D&D streams to raise money for Quest for the Cure, which raises money to fund research in for Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, which doesn't have a cure. It is fatal. It's exhibits primarily in boys. So in these games, get a bunch of famous and semi-famous people and me and some of the patients who have Duchenne's get together and just play some D&D for a couple of hours, have a good time. My session, we got to play with B. Dave Walters, Ed Greenwood, my friend Emma, who is a comedian, Emma Wakeland, and we had so much fun that we're like, do you want to do it again? And Jesse's Journey, that runs Quest for the Cure, asked if we would be interested in making it into like a series. So we've done 2 episodes so far that I've been a part of, and I believe 2 or 3 others. And then starting in April, we're going to have a monthly stream to raise money for charity. Like if you join the squad, you have a chance to play in one of our sessions. Just a lot of fun. Gary's writing the adventures, so there's singing sometimes. It's not me, which I'm grateful for. But it's I like being able to do so many things for worthy causes by playing tabletop games.
Yeah.
It's literally the easiest way to have a good time and raise money, and I couldn't be more thrilled to do that sort of thing. So starting in April, again through the Fort Nerd Twitch channel,
Which is right here for everyone to look at.
though I think there'll be monthly live streams with raffles and prizes and sponsors, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun for players and watchers.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
I feel like Sean said that you do a lot of work with inclusivity as well in gaming. Is that correct? Did I hear that correct?
I do my best. It's important to me, as it is to a lot of people, that everyone has a chance to find a gaming table that they feel comfortable in and players that they feel comfortable with. I owe so many of my real life friends to gaming, like Sean, and now I've met you, Rosie. I started gaming 5 years ago. My husband and I had moved to Philadelphia, and we didn't have any friends. Like, it was sort of like that post-college, starting to be an adult, and like, how do you make friends when you go to work all day and like you go to the gym or you go grocery shopping, or So my husband was like, "Do you trust me?" Like, well,
maybe.
He's like, "Well, that's besides the point." Like, but would you want to try playing Dungeons and Dragons? I think that these could be like our kind of people, And here we are, 5 years later, because they are. We went to a gaming convention, played my first Adventures League game, and like as soon as we got home, I was like, I want to do that again. So we found a local game store, started going, met some people, found a regular group for a couple of years, and then when we moved away from that area where we live near Trenton, New Jersey, we found our local comic shop and started game nights there. And we've been playing with that group of people for the better part of 3 or 4 years now. So, but it's strange as a woman or femme presenting person, or if you don't fit into that typical like gaming stereotype. And so for the longest time I was the only woman in our group, and there's challenges. That's my dog. And I want people to feel more comfortable or more confident when they walk into those spaces, to know that they are not just as worthy to be there, but their presence is just as valid. And it can get a little horror story sometimes. You know, I've been absolutely blessed with the people that I game with who don't tolerate that kind of nonsense. And I have horror stories, and a lot of people do. And I hate that because we shouldn't. So trying to offer ways that people can connect with more like-minded folks when they game, or have an idea, especially in like the drop-in nature of Adventures League. You might not know who's going to show up at a game store and play that night, but if you know that the store has a code of conduct, or if you know that they have here in Philly, one of our shops has a rainbow table. So for LGBTQ folks who want to show up and play, like, you have that common bond already, and you're not necessarily going to feel so out of place to start. And then you can find your people a little bit more easily. And sometimes it just helps to weed out the jerks. You know? Like, this is a safe space. And they're like, well, if you don't like it, you don't have to go. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I organizing conventions for the last few years. Yeah, there's definitely some times that the people self-select their way out, and that's not bad. But so let me ask you, as a fellow convention organizer, what's one easy way, maybe not easy, but what's one very visible way that a convention can indicate that they are inclusive to people who aren't the stereotypical grognard, right?
A code of conduct is the first thing that I think of. But when you're at the con, you might not see it. So I really like pronoun stickers or tags, and like ally or gamer badges. That was one of the things that back when we had physical events, I was making, I wonder if I have some here, stickers that you can put on your badge. Oh, let me just get all up in this camera.
That's an awesome Extra Life chair.
Thank you. I got that because I raised money for Extra Life last year. There was a like, hey, if you raise this much money, we'll send you a chair. I'm like, what's the catch? They're like, there's no catch. You just have to pay $5 for delivery. I'm like, yeah.
$5.
Right?
Oh,
yeah. So I designed these pronoun badges, and I would keep them at events. I've got my ally badge too. But just having a visual indicator of you, either if you're wearing a sticker or a badge or a flag, like, you've put some thought into your surroundings, the people that you're interacting with. You want to make them more comfortable. And you're comfortable with how you present yourself sometimes. At the con that I organized, at some point in my past before the pandemic, just having folks who weren't necessarily playing D&D, where I had, we had stickers at the main registration and at my D&D desk, and people who were gaming elsewhere, like, can I have a sticker for my child, or can I take one for a friend? And it's just sort of like that. It's a comfort thing, this is who you are, and it might not match my physical appearance, but if you know how to address me and how it's a respect and common decency, and
there's something to say about being like cognizant of it too, right? So like, even if you are feminine projection, she, her as your pronouns, having that badge there is still saying like, I'm aware that this is my thing and that other people have other things. And when I'm running my game, I'm going to ask like what your pronouns are, what your character's pronouns are, and be like really mindful to use them, versus maybe sitting at a table with somebody who isn't quite as aware. They might not even bother to ask like, hey, you're a girl, you're playing a girl, and like that's the end of it. And like, we're not going to talk about like any other options as pronouns. Like, that's just what I see, so that's what I do.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
I've had a lot of non-binary friends come up to conventions that like conventions you and I have both been at, where pronoun stickers were available, and comment not just on like the fact that like they them, which are you could, those of you at home can see are my pronouns, right? But the fact that like people are wearing she her pronouns or he him pronouns that present as femme or as masc. Like people are wearing pronouns that match their like cisgender identity, and they're like, that is like, that's awesome to me, right? And that was all that was great to hear from people that that it's not just about being like, oh well, I'm different and I have my sticker that says I'm special, but it's about normalizing the fact that anyone's pronouns can be anything, and it's important to ask and it's important to acknowledge that, right?
Yeah, if you make it part of everyday living, just as an automatic, make it a habit. It's small steps that we can all do, whether or not it directly or indirectly affects us.
In the physical convention time, I ended up getting a they them button, which was always nice because I'm aware that I present very like masculine, right? Like I present very like cis, almost white male guy. So I always liked like your stickers, which you brought to a few of our conventions, or the buttons or whatever, because it led me to indicate that. But also, I had people come up to me and they were like, "Oh, that's awesome. I understand that like this is a place where it's okay to be who I am." And now in the world of online conventions, I always make sure that like my Discord tag or my Zoom label or whatever has my pronouns in it. And I start every game with asking for pronouns. And every once in a while, I'll have someone be like, "Oh, my computer's just," and they never come back. And I'm like, fascinating.
Thanks for coming / getting lost. Yeah. That's very cool that you do that. And that's very awesome that you bring that to your space because, makes people feel like they're invited, included, and wanted. And safe, right? Safe.
Yeah.
It's amazing the little things that we can do for each other that can just improve everyone's life a little bit.
Yeah.
Being friends with Amy has improved my life considerably. And I think pronoun stickers was probably one of the first things that we talked about that wasn't just like, hey, I'm organizing a convention and you're the AL admin I need to talk to about like getting an epic. Because we do it
before I was an admin, so hopefully we were friends for longer than that. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think we met or like digitally met or whatever just before you became an admin.
Probably.
Yeah, but having Amy in my life has made things better. And all of you should become her friend too. I'm sure she's fine with the entire internet becoming. Please do not.
Send me more nice messages on the internet. Don't send me mean messages on the internet, please.
Don't send anyone mean messages. Who said that? Who were we talking to today? Was that Alan too? Who was like, yeah, no one outright messaged me that my module was awful. And I was like, oh, cool.
I mean, he was speaking from experience in other modules where people were like, you suck. Every author I've worked with has had at least one module where the responses have been like, have not just been like, hey, I think that maybe this encounter could be rebalanced, or like something trying to be constructive, but like, this module sucks and you should die.
Yeah, and you're like, thanks for the feedback. That's helpful.
AL impacts your life way more than I thought it would.
I actually keep like a folder on my phone of like screenshots of nice things that people send to me, just so that like when I need it, I can go and like, look, this person doesn't think you're terrible.
No. Yeah.
I really recommend. It's a nice mood booster regardless of whether you're in some sort of public spotlight or you just need like cute animals. I've got a folder of those too. So
it's really not a bad idea.
These are excellent tips.
I don't know if you can tell that Argos is destroying a cardboard box in the background. His favorite thing in the world.
You've got to have your favorite things. What is life without favorite things?
Cardboard is a food group in our house. So.
Oh no.
My little dog.
That sounds bad.
Nah, my little dog's a trash goblin. He like grabs stuff and then runs. We have a chair in the living room, and no, like my other dog can't get under it because she's too big. So he'll run under it, and like you have to pick it up every day. You have to like lift the chair up every day, or else like he'll like make a nest in there of like just ripped up napkins, paper towel rolls, like whatever he can get his stupid little dog socks. He loves finding a loose sock and just dashing. So
I'm going to choose to believe that that's what happens to all unpaired socks.
yeah, because my dog steals them. my dog has been to your house to steal your sock.
Yeah, using his archfey powers, just teleports in, takes the sock, leaves.
Yep, you're exactly right. That's what he does.
All right, how are we feeling about this tea? What are we thinking?
I like it. I don't know if it's the honey. I don't think it is, but there's like this kick of like sweetness at the end of it that I get.
Yes.
But I don't mind it. Like it's a good. It's not. It doesn't feel forced. It feels fresh.
That sounds
I actually am enjoying this tea a lot. You?
I enjoy this tea quite a bit as well. I'm mixing in just a touch of honey to see if that brings some of those sweeter flavors forward. But I definitely taste what you're talking about. There is like a distinctly. I just heard myself for a moment. That was weird. But the rose petals and the pear really play well together for me.
Yeah, and there is still that like that spice, that weird, like that clove, like there's still a little bit of that spice in there, somehow not like it's not fighting with all of the other flavors the way you might think it would. It's good.
Yeah, clove can be really overwhelming in tea sometimes, so I'm glad that it is. I'm using Savannah Bee Company, not sponsored, black sage honey.
We should reach out to them. And for anybody who wants to try this tea, Sip Happens gets you 10% off, discount code, one word, when you go and purchase this tea. Any other teas, you can, they're infusers. And
Dryad tea. Like not just
tea.
anyone.
No, you have to go to Dryad tea, which is where most of our teas come from, but Dryad. That'll pop up.
Yeah, if you go to Costco and then like try to enter Sip Happens on the register when you're leaving, it's not hard.
They'll laugh at you though, so that's good. You might give them like a good giggle.
I might have to send you to a blend that I like designed. Adagio tea, you can sort of make your own.
Yes, we had an Adagio a couple weeks ago.
My wedding.
This is airing like in 2 weeks. Anyways, go ahead.
My bridal shower was at a tea house, and so as a favor, I gave away little tins of a blend that I came up with, which is very chai inspired.
Yes.
Maybe on a future episode, I'll see if I can order more and send some down for y'all.
Does it have a name? Because like you can, I think on Adagio you can, any of our viewers can go and like find your blend and buy it.
It probably does. It was probably under one of my previous like social media names, so like Starling's Blend or something. I'll see if I can find the link.
Yeah.
And if we have it, then it's probably in the chat right now.
Yeah.
As well as a link to our tea review sheet, which will have links to all of the teas that we've reviewed.
So get yourself, buy them early so you can try them with us.
Yeah. So you can see what's coming up on future episodes.
Yeah.
That's very well organized. I'm impressed. Y'all have your stuff together.
Patting you on the back. I'm patting myself on the back. I don't feel like we're that well organized, but it is nice to hear. Most of the time I'm like, hey, what are we doing in 5 minutes? That was us this morning. We watched. So the rerun of this week's episode aired about an hour before we started recording. And we're going through it. I'm like, okay, what teas? Who's on today? Let me change all the nameplates. Like, what are those people's names? Oh, cool. What are you wearing today? Like, what are we wearing for this episode? That was us. And then we're like, okay, break for 40 minutes and we'll be back here to go.
Yep. We've had 2 40-minute breaks today.
That's really all you need.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, wow. This doesn't feel like we've been talking for that long, but we're at like the 40-ish minute mark. So that's pretty awesome. What?
I just said, "Are we?" and then made a face. It's
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just like a little surprised because I feel like we just started.
I feel like all my favorite interviews go that way. Of like, the time flies past, and then I feel bad that we didn't get to talk about the thing with the other thing. So,
Fair.
Amy, how is the Adventurers League world? What's going on? Everything
Yeah,
good?
tell us. But something about historic. No, wait. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Uh,
Kidding.
It's going. Yeah. We're getting a lot of new blood into the organization, being that everyone is at home and finding new ways to entertain themselves. We are currently in the process of folding in some aspects of our job into more of like a Wizards of the Coast silo. Argos, I swear you are going to go to puppy prison. He's a good boy. I love him very much. He's sleeping all day now. He's raring to go. Hey,
Relatable.
so there's a lot of changes in our processes, and but there's going to be some cool things happening. I think in the next couple of months that I'm looking forward to finding new ways to integrate the Wizards products into AL play. We still have a lot of stuff to sort out, but we're getting a lot of people. We've moved over to Discord as a communications platform versus a Facebook group that we had to monitor more frequently. And so being able to interact with people in more of a real-time fashion has been, I kind of love it. The thing that I love most about being part of the admin team is meeting people and hearing their stories and seeing how they like to play and learning from them and Argos. And so there's a lot more of that now that we're a little bit more connected via Discord, via Twitter, making new friends. So we're ever growing and expanding and learning. And maybe by the time you read this, everything that everyone has been waiting for will have been released. But
I'm as an avid Adventurers League player since season 4 or 5 or something. I can't bring myself to stress about those things. They'll be out when they come out, and until then, we're gonna play some games. We're gonna have some fun. Yeah.
Everyone has different play styles, and everyone has different things that they get out of games in the league. And some people aren't interested in the current storyline, so they want to play older things. And right now, some of our older content, we don't have all of the answers. We'll get there eventually.
Okay.
So it's a balancing act. Like everything, 2020 was just like a year. And so we're still sort of recovering from that. We've got priorities shifting, but we are making a lot of like improvements to improve like the processes and the flow of stuff. So I'm optimistic.
I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of friends on the admin team, and hats off to the work y'all do, and apologies for the vitriol you have to put up with.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why people react the way they do, but that's okay. I guess I don't need to.
About all sorts of things.
That's true. But y'all do an amazing job, and I just wanted to all the hearts.
Yeah.
Is it time to rate the tea?
It's time.
Maybe. Yeah. We're hitting our 45-50 minute mark here. So by the time we finish this and then check back in, I think we'll be at our limits.
Okay. Yeah. If we go past our time slot again, they're going to cancel us. So. we run over into the Super Bowl. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Do you have the grading scale up? Do you want to talk about it? You want me to?
You're 100% aware that I don't, because I keep all of the production stuff up on my one tiny screen of laptop.
I love that you're doing the production stuff, and you have like just what, like a 15, 17 inch laptop screen. I have
16 monitors.
Yeah, I have I have enough monitors that I have to worry about the lighting if I go to a page that's mostly white.
Yeah.
And all I have is a spreadsheet with a bunch of tea on it. Anyway, so Amy, we have a 0 to 5 star rating system for our teas. 0 would be bad. This is bad, and I would recommend against having it.
Yeah, never gonna drink it again.
Yeah, probably didn't finish it, honestly.
Yeah.
1 is fine. I would not order this, but I would totally drink it to be polite. 2 is I would drink this if other people were really excited about it. I'd be like, yeah, make me a cup, but I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to buy it. I've lost my scroll. Okay, there we go. 3 is this is good. I'd buy this. It's not like at the top of my list or anything, but this is solid. If it came in like a bundle pack, I'd be happy to have it. Right. 4 is great. I will probably order this again, depending on what deals and stuff are available. And 5 is awesome. I must keep this on hand. This is a go-to for me when I'm feeling thirsty. So, given that, Rosie,
Yeah.
where are we? Where is Sylvester Torquil
On my list.
on your list?
I'm going to give Sylvester a 4.
What? That's
Yeah.
so high.
I know. I really, really am enjoying this. The honey added just like enough for me to, and I know your rating system is a pre-honey system, but mine is a post-honey system. And I like it. I will order more. I won't drink it every day or even every other day, but it's definitely something I'd like to have on hand when I'm feeling in the mood.
Very nice.
What about you?
What about me? I think this is a 3 for me.
Solid.
Yeah, no, this is a solid. I don't know that I'm gonna go and specifically reach out to Sylvester Torquil to buy it, but if there was like a I don't know,
Like a sampler pack and it was part of it?
Yeah, like a Rooibos pack or a Children of Oberon pack.
Right.
Pack. I'm loving all of the like Shakespearean and Fey references.
Yeah.
That part's my favorite part, really. But yeah, if there was, then I'd be more than happy to have this in my house.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about your
Amy?
tea?
How do you feel about your beverage?
My tea came out of a box. This is my Tazo chai concentrate, which is like, I have grand plans of making my own chai concentrate, but I'm in that like overwhelmed, like not necessarily where do I start, but how do I know it's going to be good? And I know it's a trial and error, but I want it to be good right off the bat. So when I'm not feeling particularly fussy, I like it extra spicy, so I don't do a 1-to-1 ratio. I put some extra concentrate in. It's pretty good. I like it spicy.
Nice.
Sounds great.
I'm a big fan of a chai latte myself.
I learned how to make chai in the slow cooker.
Oh.
That sounds delightful.
Slow cook my chai tea. I don't have the recipe off the top of my head, and it's not my brain cells, but like cinnamon sticks, cardamom, milk, some tea bags in there as well, and cook it for like I think it was like 4 hours in the slow cooker, and it was like on a nice cold winter day.
My favorite slow cooker beverage is sort of a mulled red wine. 2 bottles of red wine, depending on how big your crock pot is. It's a half gallon of cider, apple cider, to a bottle of red wine. So if you have a big crock like I do, you can double it. And you put in some cloves and some cinnamon sticks, some orange slices, and you just warm it and just drink it like all weekend. And
sounds great.
It's delightful. It's so easy and delicious because you can just get whatever red blend that you have or can get at the store. And it's pretty good.
That's awesome. Amy, where can people find you to get more of these crockpot wine recipes?
You know my audience. Yeah.
Sparkles, crockpot wine. Got it.
Doggos. Don't forget doggos.
Doggo.
I am primarily on Twitter at little at symbol LADYDZRA, Lady Dzura.
Which pops up because I'm gonna hit the social button for our guest, and that's gonna pop up for you.
Fancy.
And what about you, Rosie?
At Rosie_games, Twitter, please. That's the one I use the mostest and communicate the most information on. So that'd be the best spot. You, Sean?
Every week I give out my Twitter at Sean Banerjee, but this week, instead of giving out my Twitter at Sean Banerjee, I am going to give out my Instagram, Sean.Banerjee. Follow along for all of my weird selfies and pictures of wormwood and dice.
Do you post pictures of your tea?
Yeah.
We should do that probably.
You mean like a hashtag sip happens?
Hashtag sip happens is a thing. I put it on all of our posts.
Yep.
I do. Rosie doesn't always.
I started to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Always. This is our second week of airing.
Paige Lightman gave our fans a name that we love.
Oh God, I can't say it.
What was it?
Oh, I was gonna go sipsters, like hipsters.
That is pronounceable and better. Nothing personal, Paige.
Better. Just straight out calling Paige Lightman.
Paige that, yeah. She'll stick her height.
Paige said sip shippers.
Okay.
Try to say it like 2 times in a row though. Like yeah, see? Exactly.
I feel like it's super on brand. It's difficult to say without accidentally cursing.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. So all of our sip shippers and all of our sipsters, which is better.
We should consider making like a Sip Happens Instagram and like posting tea pictures.
I guess.
I said consider. Like we're just throwing it out there right now. We don't have to.
Can we make intern Steve do it?
I wish that intern Steve was like a real thing, but yes, we can.
A real thing? I wish he was a real person.
Right, sure.
Your dogs, Rosie. Like, I've got a supervisor back there that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, my dogs chew on chair legs. That's helpful in that I need new furniture. But yeah, no, I mean, I was thinking of intern Steve as like an unseen servant almost even. Like that. Yeah. That would be cool.
Unseen and also doesn't do anything because it doesn't exist.
Right. So that was why I went with thing, not person, because that's how I envision it when it happens, that it will be like somehow I gain magical capacity to cast Unseen Servant and be like, Steve, can you get everything set up for the recordings today and make sure you send out emails to all of the guests so they know that today's their day. Thanks.
All right. One last lightning question and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
Amy, if there was one mechanic from a non-D&D system that you could bring over to D&D, what would it be?
Good question.
Rosie, I'm coming to you next.
So one thing that I like from Pugmire is initiative. You choose who goes next. So you roll for initiative. Whoever rolls highest goes first. But then it's just like around the table. So you can sort of like, oh, so-and-so, I'm going to do this. And then after. So I sort of like that teamwork aspect of initiative during combat.
That'd be an easy integration. That's awesome.
Yeah, so. That's very cool.
What about you, Rosie? You got one?
I'm still new enough to this that I don't play a lot of other systems, so I don't have a ton of information on that. I'm trying to think of like the 2 other systems that I've played, and nothing is immediately jumping into my mind that would be useful in D&D.
That's all right.
What have you played?
Monster Hearts and Emberwind actually is like I met the creators at Pop Culture Con, whatever, in the early pre-days of when life was cool. The before times. And so I have like their whole system for it and their book and their story, and it's pretty fun. But it's confusing because like a 20 is the worst and a 1 is the best. And so it's really hard when you roll it. And I'm like, 19. Oh shoot, that means like I think I shoot myself in the foot. I don't know what happens here. This is terrible.
Structure of interest is also inverted that way.
What about you, Sean? Something you'd bring from another system into D&D?
I would bring from Cyberpunk Red. I would bring over local expert as a ability. The number of times somebody's been like, "Oh, well, I'm from whatever town we're in, Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, Daggerford, and like I'm from this neighborhood, and I got my parents work in this industry, and I work in this industry," and I'm like, I guess give me a history check, like whether or not you know somebody. Like I try to mix it up, or I'll just be like, I don't know, roll a d20 and add 7 to it. But like I love the local expert ability or skill. I don't remember which one it falls under in Cyberpunk Red. And I think that D&D could benefit from that.
That's awesome.
There's also like 1,000 abilities or skills in Cyberpunk Red. Like, there's a lot. I'm still learning my character sheet, so.
Yeah. Well, everybody at home, this Sunday, please tune in to watch the premiere of Cyberpunk Independence, starring Amy Lynn Dzura and some other people, I assume, who are not as cool. And
they're cool.
I mean, they can be cool. They're just not as cool as you. That's yeah. And as always, as we like to say, sip happens.
Just